partage ta vie.
So we're going to go ahead now and start talking about episode 2. It's called Woe is the Loneliest Number. So this opens with the sheriff and his staff searching the woods. You want to read the question? Since it's
Yeah.
yours. Okay.
Okay. So I said, what do you think about the relationship between Wednesday, the sheriff, and Principal Weems in the opening scene? Basically, right after they finish their search in the woods, and then we're now at the school, and he's talking with Wednesday walking up the stairs.
Okay. So Wednesday, she's very controlling, and it's very clear that she is used to getting her way because she kind of takes over, like she kind of makes it seem like the sheriff works for her.
How could you miss a dead body?
Because it wasn't there. No footprints, no blood, no sign of a struggle, nothing, nada. My search party looked all night.
Well, your search party must have left their seeing eye dogs at home.
And should do what she says. Why aren't you finding out more information about what he did? And kind of like assuming that the sheriff is going to drop everything and go get a DNA test and all this other things that he doesn't have any obligation to share with her how he's investigating it. So and he's an adult. So I thought that was pretty funny. She just kind of assumes people are going to come to her beck and call and do what she says, including the principal, who's has the power to not evict, but expel. Yeah, has the power to expel her and ban her from the school. And the sheriff could always arrest her because she's going off on her own investigating and she's not qualified. I mean, she's a child, probably is how he sees her. So she's like interfering with an investigation kind of deal. So I think that it's pretty funny that all these adults are like having to listen to her tell them what to do. So what are your thoughts on
that? I agree. Like, she definitely controlled that whole scene. They're walking up the stairs, and then at a certain point, Principal Weems approaches, and that's when when the sheriff makes the allegation, because he's asking her questions like, so you said you saw a monster, and she's like, yeah, and he's like, well, did you see him? What did he look like? She's like, he didn't stick around, and he's like, well, you think it was one of your classmates? And Principal Weems, she got highly offended, like, whoa, what, you just blaming it? Like, you have no proof, no evidence that it's any of our students, nor do you have proof that Rowan is even dead, because you guys have found nobody, and so you can see how protective she is, but in the midst of all that, it's like Wednesday is just making it hard for both, because Principal Weems just wants to protect her school, protect her students, and protect, how the townspeople look at them,
Yeah.
And the sheriff, he can care less about any of that. We'll get into later why he really dislikes the school, but he wants any reason to be able to blame some of the students or someone at that school. And Wednesday, she was there, so she knows what really happened, but there's no evidence. So I think that makes it even harder for her, because she knows what she saw, but she has no proof. She can't find proof. They can't find proof. No one believes her. And then at the end of the scene, what puts the icing on the cake is when her and the sheriff talk alone. Principal Weems leaves the room, so Wednesday and the sheriff can talk, and she's doing her best to convince him, like, I'm right. You have to follow what I'm saying, because
Guess who shows up?
And then here comes Rowan, and it's just like, it just like ruins everything for her. But she's just such a powerful character, and in that scene, it just really comes through, with how she handles the principal and the sheriff.
Yeah, I think she's still just not giving up on this whole idea that Rowan is dead. She just doesn't she gets Thing, to follow Rowan at the train station. So she's not like just agreeing with Principal Weems and that he's fine and he's not dead, and drop it kind of deal, because Principal Weems just wants everything to go back to normal and like no drama, and everyone just leave students alone so that they can continue on and not be shut down. So I think, so Wednesday, even though she's like kind of shocked about seeing Rowan walking in the door, in her mind there has to be an explanation. That's like, because she's not easily brainwashed to think that she didn't see anything.
Yeah, she definitely wasn't fooled at all. I think, like you said, as soon as you see Rowan walk in the door and he's smiling, it's just, even in the audience, no one believed it. The cool part about it, how everything plays out, how the shots, the order of the shots, and everything leading up. Since we did see him get killed, we're right there with Wednesday. So it's like, it's sad because we're watching her, we're believing her, but no one else is. And now we are, as the audience, now we're like really in the moment with her. Like, we've got to figure this out. Like, how did he just walk in here? And my question to you, do you think they gave that away too soon?
No, because they needed to wrap that storyline up. Because if they didn't do that, then she wouldn't pursue it so hard. She would still be like, kind of like, she would still pursue like what happened, but it would be more in the background. Whereas this pushes it to the forefront and she has to figure out what happened now. So I think they did need to reveal that right away, because there's so much more that goes on with this story than just Rowan's storyline. I do think they do that writers, and that probably Tim Burton has this, for some reason they introduce characters and then just drop them pretty quickly. Like, I think Rowan is an example of that. Like, I would have liked to see like him not die at the beginning, like have that part of it stretch out a little bit, because he's a crucial part of this. So I'd want to know a little bit more about his history. Like, what, for instance, like, it's clear that his mom is a seer, and he has telekinesis. So I'd want to know, like, why his mom saw this, and why her mom interpreted it this way. And I'd want to know why he's so he's just gonna go, he's on board with what she saw and doesn't question it, because I don't think all visions are going to be 100% accurate all the time, and there's probably a lot of explanations for images that you see that you haven't thought of because you don't have the full story, you just have the images. So I'm just wondering, like, did his mom just start having visions, and that's why he's like, oh my gosh, you must be right, I'm gonna go to that school and I'm gonna make sure she doesn't destroy it. I'd want to know, like, what happened for him to just fully be on board with what his mom was seeing without any kind of questioning going on. So having that come through the story, the rest of the story, or more episodes, and having it be milked a little bit, so that, and then maybe he gets in trouble with a lot and he tries to attack Wednesday and her friends, and then so it would be a misdirect, a redirect for everyone to kind of think that maybe he is the monster. He could be a suspect. I think that would have been a little bit, it would be nice to just have a character not just show up and then disappear right away when he's kind of.
I agree. We definitely could have got more from Rowan's character. My question, actually, which makes me think more so than about his short lifespan, but what do you think, like Tim Burton? What do you think his thought process was, or why he came to the decision to reveal to the audience before he revealed to Wednesday that Principal Weems was just morphed into him? Because we found out way before Wednesday found out.
That wasn't Principal Weems, wasn't the one. It was a different.
She walks in Rowan walks into the bathroom, thing
Yeah,
follows her,
right.
and
It
then when
turns
it
into a
comes
man.
off, it turns into a man. And
Oh,
then
that
the
was,
scene that I really like is what I think they shot really well.
yeah.
The man walks down the stairs, and then he's going through these, those old, like,
Oh,
the
that
long
wasn't
hallways.
Principal Weems though. That was a different shapeshifter.
He
That
turned into Principal Weems.
right. That wasn't Principal Weems though. That was a different shapeshifter.
Oh,
That's
you
what I
think?
assumed. I assumed it was a different shapeshifter. So it was I don't want to reveal who the master is, but I think that's who it was. I don't think
Okay.
it was, I don't think, yeah, I don't think it was Principal Weems. Because why would she,
I
or if it was, I think the reason it was her so that she could just like have this be done with and have she assumed that Wednesday would stop investigating when Rowan shows up. So just
Yeah,
to,
no, exactly. That's like it to me. It makes sense that it was Principal Weems because she wants to, erase this story. She has no idea where this kid is. I think she assumes, or at least thinks, Wednesday might be telling the truth, but
mm,
there's no proof. Even what kind of leads me to believe that it is Principal Weems is because Wednesday when Principal Weems sends Wednesday out to find a club to join, and she goes up to Bianca for the choir, right? And she asks Bianca, she says, "Did you call the sheriff after I fainted?" Because remember, she Wednesday tells the sheriff, I notified someone and then passed out, and then I woke up, whatever. But she asked Bianca, "Did you tell the sheriff?" And Bianca says, "You think I would tell those normie police? I went straight to Principal Weems." So Principal Weems knew about Rowan supposedly killed in the woods before anybody.
oh,
And then
okay.
all of a sudden the body's gone. So I think Principal Weems is like, I gotta clean the scene because I don't want anything pointing to my school because then that's just bad press.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it could be her. I just assumed it was the bad person. It was because Principal Weems just seemed like somebody that really I didn't see her as someone who'd go that far to like impersonate Rowan so that Wednesday would stop trying to figure out what's happening with Rowan and why
Yeah.
he ended up dead. I just didn't assume. I assumed that she was a good character who just had some very unusual quirks and just was had a lot of good intentions. So, but if it is her, which it does sound like it could be, I think that in that moment she just like I think she just had made a very bad decision, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I still think, honestly, I think she is a good character. We won't go into, obviously we saw the whole season. I think she is a good character. I just think that she'll do anything to protect her
Right. That's
students, and she'll do anything to protect the school.
which
And
means
she
that she's
is,
not a good person if she's like going that far gone, if she's that far gone where she could cross a line. Kind of like yeah. So because what would happen if Rowan really was alive, you know, and she like tried to like uh shush everything and he came and attacked Wednesday. Would she, what was she, and maybe what if he killed a student? Would she still try to protect the school at all costs? Yeah.
well, yeah, I hear what you're saying. In that sense, that would definitely change her character. I think it just all depends on how everything played out. If like Bianca said, if Christopher Weems was the first to know, she probably did see his dead body, so she knew he was dead.
Yeah.
But she wanted to be on the forefront of handling the situation before the police ran with it. And I think that's why the timing was so perfect when they were in her office.
Thank you, Sheriff. I think Miss Adams is done now.
Actually, I would like to speak to Sheriff Galpin. Alone.
And then after only a few minutes of them talking, all of a sudden, Rowan shows up. I think she knew that this could get really risky. They're sitting in the room talking alone. Like, I need to stop this.
Yeah,
So,
before Wednesday convinces the sheriff to like do a full get everybody, do a search party and, do, make it known to the public what's happening, do press releases and things like that. So
yeah.
squelch it.
The scene that I'm going to talk about is when Principal Weems tells Wednesday that she needs to pick a club to join.
Oh.
And she wants to, try all these different clubs out. But I know you mentioned in your notes, you mentioned about the sarcasm that Wednesday has and the way she has her little jokes. One of the lines that I really liked was when she is talking to Principal Weems, and she's like, Principal Weems tells her, we like all our students to be, well-rounded. She's like, I prefer to be sharp-edged, and then she tells her, well, just look through, these choices. I'm sure you'll find something to tickle your fancy. She said the last person that tickled me lost a finger.
That's so funny.
She's just so hardcore. But that taps into her not wanting to show emotion as well. Like I love how that's always brought to the forefront of her character. Like you tickle someone, they're gonna laugh. She doesn't want.
I think it's.
Like,
Yeah, I think it's more than she doesn't want to show emotion. I think it's more likely that she doesn't want to get someone to get the upper hand, to put her in her place. So she has to be the one to put them in their place. I think that's more of why her sarcasm is so potent, because it's like very much like putting somebody down and making them feel like they're not as smart as she is.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead and ask the question.
All right. So, question: what do you think about the song of choice? Don't worry, be happy. As Wednesday tries to pick a club to join in the school, the song plays right after she finishes doing the super high note that only dogs can hear. She
Yeah. Oh, with the
and,
sirens. Yeah.
With the sirens, exactly. And so, as soon as she walks away, which I thought was a beautiful blend because she left choir class, and then we come into song as she goes to archery with Xavier.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think about the placement using that song for this character?
I think that was a good choice. It was humorous. So, because in montage scenes, they can be kind of dry unless there's like music or something to keep the pace going. And so that song is, has a happy tempo, very upbeat. And I think it was funny because Wednesday is considered somebody very unhappy, and she has to go to all these social clubs and try to see where she can fit in. And there's no way that any of them are going to work for her because she doesn't want to be part of any clubs. So I think it was an ironic choice and kind of funny, just kind of like lightens the mood a bit because the show does get pretty dark at times.
Yeah.
I do want to say I love how she could she broke the Principal Weems' glass in her office with that note and that only dogs can hear. That was really funny. Like, wow, she's affecting everybody in the town. So I think that was funny. That was good. It was just showed like there's a humorous side to Wednesday, whether she knows it or not. And so we can just lighten up a little bit and not even though it's gonna be we're going to be trying to figure out who the monster is and why Rowan was killed and all those dark kind of things. We get a little bit of levity from this. So
yeah.
So
We found with her hopping from club to club, we got to see some new talents that she has.
Yes.
The note that she sings is talent in itself. It's very fitting to her character because it's an opera talent. Like, yeah, that's cool that you can sing that note, but nobody can hear it. So it's like, okay.
And it's also kind of a dangerous skill to have. Like it can hurt somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. When she was doing archery with Xavier, she throws the apple in the air and arrow goes right to the center, with no effort, really,
Yeah, it's kind of showing the audience that she's not only is she capable, like we've been saying, but she can, she's better than all the other students. And these are kind of beneath her type of activities. She's destined for bigger things than going to high school. I think that's the kind of the gist of it. And all these students, they may try to compete with me, but I'm always going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I think that it's showing us she's kind of a smart aleck, but we trust that she's going to get the job done kind of personality.
Yes.
And yeah, so I think it was a good choice. I thought it was kind of like, I'm not a real big fan of that song, Don't Worry, Be Happy, because it's kind of cheesy.
It is cheesy.
But I think it was a good idea to show have a song that's very popular that everybody knows, even if you don't particularly like that song, because it's easily recognizable. So if they chose something like a Depeche Mode song or The Cure or some other 80s song, I think they would lose people. So it's a good generic kind of song that most people know. So
yeah.
We'd love it if you would like, leave a comment, subscribe, and share. See you soon.